The gymnast rings are by far the most universal piece of exercise equipment that you can buy. So I'm sure you're well aware that cities across the world are shutting down because of the coronavirus, and at-home workouts have never been more popular. Now, I love floor workouts, and that's what everyone seems to be doing, but honestly, I would much rather work on a pair of gymnast rings than on the floor. And the great thing about the gymnast rings is that they're so universal. I can work my chest and my triceps. I can work my biceps and my back. I can even work my core and my legs. And I will admit that they are better for certain muscle groups than others, but I can still work my entire body and I can switch things up. There's just so many exercises that I can do. I can't get bored with them. And the best thing about rings is I can put them up anywhere. I can hang them on a tree. I can hang them on a doorway pull-up bar. I can put them in my garage. I can put them in my bedroom. I can literally put them anywhere that there's a horizontal bar that can carry my weight. And that's what I love about them. So one of the biggest complaints that I hear from people is that the exercises they do know are just too advanced for them to do. And so in this video, I'm going to show you not only intermediate moves, but progressions that lead up to those intermediate moves that anyone can do. So let's jump in. So the first exercise we have are pull-ups to chin-ups, and they're great for the biceps and back, and I really enjoy them as a warm-up. So with many of the exercises, as you'll see, we're going to start by retracting the scapula, depressing the shoulders. We're going to keep our legs straight, and we're going to pull to the chest, hold for 2 breaths, and let out. Now, if you haven't gotten your first pull-up, I would suggest doing ring rows. Now, my favorite part about the rings is that you can literally use them in any position that you want for any progression that you are at. So stand more vertical to make it easier and more horizontal to make it harder. Our second exercise are knee raises, and these are great for the core. So once again, we're gonna retract the scapula, depress the shoulders. We're gonna keep our legs straight. You don't wanna round the lower back. So tighten your abs by pulling your belly button closer to your back. And then we're just gonna pull our knees to our chest and pause, and then let them down. Try and minimize leaning backwards. Now, if knee raises are too easy, I would suggest doing leg lifts by keeping everything else the same. Retract the scapulas, depress the shoulders, keep the back straight, and just lift to horizontal and down. Our third exercise are dips. These are great for your chest and tricep. We start by setting the rings at chest level. We want to go as far down as possible. And at the top, let's externally rotate the rings. And if you're not able to get dips, I would suggest lowering the rings and doing behind the back dips. So our next exercise is assisted pistol squats. So while the rings are at chest height, we're going to lift one leg and we're going to squat with one leg while holding the ring in our other hand. If you don't need to hold the ring, then that's great, but definitely use the ring if you need to. Now, I don't have a ring progression for this, but if these are too hard for you, I would suggest starting with regular squats. While we have the rings at this level, our next exercise is face pulls. Once again, we want to retract the scapula, depress the shoulder. We want to keep our elbows below our shoulders. We're going to pull into our chest, lift up the hands to our face, and then back down and out. One of the problems that you see with this, and it's very easy to do, is lifting the elbows to shoulder level, which is not depressing the shoulders. So the next exercise we have are rear delt flies. These are great for your back. Make sure you choose the progression angle that works for you. Once again, we're gonna retract our scapula, depress our shoulder, and we wanna keep our arms straight as we pull the rings out. It's okay if you have to bend them in the beginning, but the goal is to keep our arms out. Our next exercise are chest flies. Very similar to the rear delt flies, but in the opposite position. So once again, you want to choose the progression angle that works for you. If you're a beginner, a more vertical angle, and if you're more advanced, a more horizontal angle. You want to retract the scapula, depress the shoulders, and doing this exercise, you want to keep the elbows below the scapula plane. When doing these, I would suggest going to 90 degrees or less, no more than that. And also make sure you have a slight bend in your elbows. Our next exercise is skull crushers. These are great for your triceps. Once again, choose the progression angle that works for you, more vertical if you're a beginner, more horizontal if you're advanced. So the way you get into these is you get into a push-up position, but push your hands a little bit higher or more forward above your head. Keep your core strong, your back flat, don't arch your back, and just bend at the elbows, put your head in between your hands, and come back. So our final exercise is for your core, and it's called the ring rollouts, very similar to the ab roller. So if you're a beginner, I would suggest going on your knees, tighten your core, straighten your back, do not arch it, and just push out with the rings and pull back. Now it's very easy for your back to arch, and if you're doing that, then it's too hard for you, and I would go a step back. Either don't go out as far or stay on your knees. Keep working that core. If these are too easy for you, go to your feet. And now to your ring rollouts. It's a little bit too hard for me, so I will stick to my knees. Well, if you made it this far in the video, thanks for sticking around. I do want to take this time to say that what we're all going through is a very serious matter, and I hope you all are taking it seriously by staying inside and doing your part to not spread it to everyone else, because there are people that can be affected, and whether you think it doesn't affect you or not, it can affect others that you come in contact with or the people that they come in contact with down the line. So just because you don't think that you are around old people or older people because you're part of the younger generation, there's definitely ways that you can infect those people. So please, please take this seriously and stay home.